Hello, I'm going to be doing voice recordings from now on. That way, um, well, feel a little bit more comfortable, kind of. Except I have a new anxiety. Oh no. Do you know what that new anxiety is? I want one of my friends to guess. Well, regardless, regardless, or regardless, no, duh. A couple of points I need to make. One, I wasn't really raised by my family. Um, and the reason why is because I was kind of spoiled. Um, I was recognized for my doing things like drawing and writing and creating at a young age um, by Dom Martin. He was the artist who did the artwork for the wine labels for Cana Vineyards. Cana is a reference to Cana of Galilee in the Bible, um, where the location of the story of Jesus turning water into wine. They didn't say how long it took, okay? So I am not going to comment in any direction as far as religion goes. Um, I will say that I have studied poetry and literature my whole life. I've really liked Shakespeare. My father, I was basically raised by my dad, separate from the rest, and the reason why is because, well, a lot of people didn't understand my father, and there was a lot of created something. I'm trying not to use offensive words because a lot of people, um, not being specific here, people I've never met, people I don't know, people I never will know, can identify with feeling personally attacked when any sort of mental instability is mentioned. Um, we all have mental health things to address. Literally every single person experienced childhood trauma. Literally every single person has their brain and their memories and their body and everything has been altered by something that happened to them. From the baby boomers generation, who it's a lot of our parents. My dad is, well, he died this year. He would have been 76. He died before his birthday. Um, and he would have been 77. Sorry. It's been a crazy year, and I'm not going to get into that so much. I'm going to move forward. I've been trying to locate all of the bits and pieces of my trilogy that I have been working on for 15 years. It includes, well, there's Choose Your Own Adventure is one of them. And it's a very, it's hard to understand how and why I was doing this. So I came up with this project a long time ago because I wanted to start doing little fundraisers. Now, um, people who have known me my whole life, know that I've always been very generous and I like to feed people. I like to invite people over. I like to have parties. And when I talk about parties, I'm not talking about getting wasted. I hate alcoholism. I hate drugs. I hate that lifestyle. What I see is a lot of people who don't know how to function, who without the substance. And what they're doing is they're erasing years of opportunity. And I ended up being around a lot of people who chose that lifestyle. Do nothing, get drunk all the time. And, I'm not going to shame marijuana use, but if you're using it all day, every day, that is an addiction. It is a drug addiction. Anything that is used in that way to kind of cover something up is a drug addiction. Now, a lot of states have either decriminalized marijuana or legalized marijuana. And I mean, it is my opinion that that should be the norm all over the place because, well, look what the tax dollars can do for everybody. And then there's less crime. And side note, I want to be very brief because I don't want to start any sort of arguments or anything. And I've talked to a couple of friends of mine and they agree. They're like, wow, yeah, I guess you're right about that. So I grew up in a tiny community and there's a lot of pro-gun talk, and and I think that there's this just from learning things from people who have grown up like that. There's this sort of like, I think people are overly cruel to people who talk about gun rights, and then I think on the other side, people who, nope, I'm gonna cut that. So this is going to be very raw, and I'm trying to learn how to talk about these sort of things that, like, being overly sensitive to criticism and being unable to talk about something without being upset. And the reason I'm able to do that is to talk about everything, and I can kind of take, like, you can call me anything, honestly, and I'll make a joke about it. Side note 14. Get back to that. I'm kind of reinventing this thing, so I guess what my idea just then was, if I can put it on a side note, then I can make a recording later. I was able to figure out how many bullets I needed before that topic 14 because I do read and write and learn and study and see my life in the way that my life is. Now, I'm going to give an example of what I mean by that. And then I'll get to the point of why I'm talking like this. Gibberish. Side note 15. And then I'm going to cut it off at 17, always. Sorry. So I'm thinking about when I was a kid, and so in the early to mid 90s, our family had the winery that I mentioned, and when we'd be out there pruning or checking the emitters, we'd have to like suck the end of the emitter to like and spit it out and to get the water to come through because sand would build up or whatever. And then, or when we were pruning, like, and you know how when you're out doing something all day and then you close your eyes and you can still see that same, like all the leaves, or in that case of the vineyard pruning, I'll see all the leaves, see all this, well, not pruning this with, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. So when I study in my notebooks, and I create in my notebooks, and I have that kind of talent from my experiences and what I've made my life. So I have been primarily self-employed since my divorce we've divorced in 2017, May of 2017. But we separated in 2014. And I'm going to intentionally not talk about one area of that experience because it is more complicated, and I need to further explain how this non-disclosure agreement for my works has protected myself and family members, certain family members, not others. And unfortunately, there will be a couple of family members that will go to prison. I created a way to get people to talk about things without fear of having consequences. And I did that by allowing them to write as fiction, like by introducing the idea of writing as fiction, and also like turning their stories into what I call the noun fiction series. So, and the way that I was able to, get people to agree to it was the promise of, well, 100 stories over 3 states. And people were wanting things to change. So, and were giving me information when it comes to things like drug trafficking and other sort of dangerous lifestyles that people get into. Um, there is a fear that people have, and I've jumped to another point, but to be honest, this is a really hard time for me, and I need to be able to. I mean, I wish I had an outline here with me, but it's been really difficult. Stop with the side notes. I think in bubble charts, and that is just because that's what I do. So, the stories and, I actually can't talk about that because I need to get some protection for a couple of people in Idaho before I do. And the reason why is because I'm not going to be releasing any of the stories. And I've been collecting all kinds of photographs. I scan objects, and I have these big, well, what I was I've intentionally been wanting to help teenage girls who are in trapped situations, and I mean that in a really general term. I'm not talking about like the terrible things that go on all over the world to girls even younger than teenagers, but I'm talking about people that have opened up to me, and a lot of girls who do feel trapped, they feel really comfortable talking to me. That's because I keep things secret when they need to be secret. And I am always like I make a point to ask, what are you comfortable with? What are you uncomfortable with? And I don't like to shame people. I never have. This is going to be now an example of a burn recording. See how I went from topic to topic? I didn't finish what I was saying in this one. I didn't finish what I was saying in the other one. I kind of got some general topics going, a little bit of side notes, yada, 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 whatever, whatever. That's because this recording would be for me. Now I'm going to take this, and it's under 15 minutes, and I'm going to listen to it. And then I'm going to make some bullet points. And then I'm going to turn this one recording into some ones that are separated and one thing after another, and that people can pay attention to. It's a process. Now, as soon as you understand that, I will explain why I have to. Shit. Nope. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's going to be another side note. I'm just going to call it. And you don't know what that means because this is the burn recording. Coming up on 15 minutes. You just want it to be confirmed. Do you? What? What thing? Oh, gotta listen to the rest of it. All right, I'm going to cool it. And this is the end pause. Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel.